Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Mod School. I'm Chris Tagashi and with me is Ronja Monto.
Hello.
And today we are going to teach you how to do some basic scripting and teleport an NPC into another cell.
Oh, my favorite.
Yes. And the reason we're doing this is because in a previous episode, episode 1, we had Broseph follow the player, but he didn't follow the player all the way into the vault. We kind of just left him outside, and
Yeah.
we don't want to do that because the bombs are falling, and who knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
want
we need to
Broseph to live.
bring him inside with us.
Yeah. And so because the NPC didn't follow you into the cell, we need to kind of teleport him inside. So the first thing we're gonna look for is our cell, and if you notice in our cell view here, we can sort by name to find Vault 111. And there's different Vault 111s. Obviously, there's one pre-war and there's one for after the war. So we want the one pre-war. So if you double click on that, you load up the cell and you could see it in its entirety. I'm holding shift right now and moving the mouse. If you use the mouse wheel, you can go in and out. You click to select things, so I can click and select something, scrolling in with the mouse wheel, holding shift to rotate, and so on. Now if you notice, here is the location where it looks like the player starts. You can see a blue marker for the COC location. So if you COC'd pre-war Vault 111 in the console, it would take you to that blue marker there.
Oh.
The yellow marker is the cell entry point. It's the doorway entry point. So that's where the player starts if you enter the cell from a door. And here is a trigger box, a vanilla trigger box, which I double clicked on, which you'll notice as sort of a pinkish color, I think.
Purple?
Yeah.
It's a very pretty box.
Yeah. It's a default set stage trigger, so if you look at the script tab and look at the script name, what it does is if you look at the properties, it will set the quest MQ101 to stage 600, and it requires a prerequisite of quest 510. You can also look at the source, right-click Edit Source, and this is what the script is. Event on trigger enter, and it tries to set stage. It checks a lot of things. It's a lot more complicated than it needs to be. But we're going to make our own trigger box here. So we're going to click on this box, and then go to the top column. You see this box with a T in it. T is for trigger.
Okay.
We're going to search default. We're going to filter by default. And we're going to find the default set stage trigger of our own. We're going to go with player only, just so only the player can trigger the box. And we're going to hit OK. So now, I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually two trigger boxes. They're exactly the same size. So we're going to find our newly created box here. You notice I'm filtering by default. If I do it set stage, you'll notice the box we just added comes up. So right click edit. Let's give our box a reference ID of bros. Trigger stage 10. So now if I want to find it, I can just type bros and it will come up. Now, because it's the exact same size as the other trigger box, it's hard to click on, so let's kind of make it a little bit bigger so we can manipulate it.
Okay.
So primitive bounds, let's make it 100 bigger for X and Y, and then hit OK. And you notice the box is now slightly bigger.
Right.
You can also use these arrows to expand the size of the box. And mainly this is just for clicking on it. It was already big enough before, but let's just make it a little bit bigger.
Just in case.
Yeah, in case we want to move it around. See? Make it dance. Now, just like the default, the vanilla box, we want it to set a stage because that stage is going to basically control everything we want to do. So let's add a quest name, filter by bros, bros based dialogue, have a stage to set, and we'll just pick 10 for now.
Okay.
Hit OK. So what happens now is when the player enters this trigger box, they will set bros based dialogue to 10, stage 10. The next thing we need to do is make stage 10 do something, because otherwise it's just going to set a stage and nothing's going to happen, right? But first, let's make sure our scripts have a prefix. So we go to File, Preferences. And this is just for organizational purposes. We want to put all our mod scripts into a single folder. We don't want to mix it with the vanilla scripts.
Right.
So if we go to Scripts, this default namespace, F3D NPC, that's for Tales from the Commonwealth, so we don't want to use that. We want to have our own separate folder of bros. So then every script we make will have the bros prefix. This will kind of ensure no mod conflicts with other mods because they will have their own. They might have the same number on the back end, but if we have a bros prefix on the front end, I'm assuming no other mod will use that. So we hit apply, then close. It's thinking. Okay. So now let's make a script. Actually, let's make a new quest for this because we don't want to mix up the two.
Okay, let's do that.
So let's make a new quest. Bros teleport. Teleport. Me, bro. Hit OK.
Perfect.
And now let's add the stage. Stage 10. Hit OK. And now if we double click this trigger, let's change the quest from bros base dialogue to bros teleport. So now it's going to set bros teleport to stage 10.
Okay, excellent.
So, in order to move bros to this location, we want to use the creation kit's move to object reference script. And if you look at the examples, there is a Bob move to Bob's house marker, and what essentially it does is move Bob to the marker. And we're going to change that to brosef move to player. Now, the thing about this is the game doesn't know who brosef is. It doesn't know who the player is.
Okay.
So we use properties to tell it. So double click on properties. Add. Type is actor. If you hit the drop down box, you can see all kinds of different ways to, identify a ref ID. Brosef. And then our other property will be actor. Player. Now we need to identify what those values are. Right now it says value none. So edit value. And we put brosef in pre-war player house. So let's find it. You see his ref ID is there. And the player you can just go to any and then player ref.
Right. The player is everywhere.
Yeah. And then you see his ref ID or her ref ID. And now if we hit compile,
It should work. Maybe.
I think it did. So if we hit OK,
Yay! It worked.
yes. And if it didn't compile, you would get an error message. Like suppose I put brosef blah blah blah.
You need to compile. Oh,
It will
there you
say
go.
variable brosef is undefined.
Yeah. It did not recognize that script.
All right. So this is one way of doing it. Now, another way would just be to have the game call upon a player using this language, game get player. If we use this, we don't need to have a property. So I can actually clear this, clear value, because I don't need this. And it will work.
Oh.
Yes, if I hit compile. So you technically don't need a property for the player. It's more there if you're moving it to an object. So let's say I'm moving it to brosef. Or let's just put, let's put brosef object. I add a property. Object reference. Brosef. Was it brosef object?
Yes.
The name has to be exact.
I guess not.
I think it added. I think it just needs. Sometimes you have to hit OK and go back in there just because the CK is finicky like that.
It is.
It was still
Same.
giving me an error message from the previous thing I did, which isn't very nice. See, if you notice, I go back in, it's there now.
Huh.
So the value, yeah, stupid CK. So the value is none. So it needs to know what brosef object is. So let's pick one of these X markers. We don't want this trigger. Let's navigating this is sometimes a bit.
It is kind of ridiculous. Look at that.
I'm trying to get one of these red markers.
It's gone.
Yeah, let's find the COC marker heading. There we go.
There you go. That's better.
So yeah, let's move him to this object. So if I pick the object in the reference window by using this button here, pick reference in reference window, I've now moved brosef to this particular object.
Very nice.
Nice. Now, another way we can call upon brosef's ref ID without using properties is to call upon his quest alias.
Call upon. That's very, very old-fashioned of you.
Yeah. I'm gonna call him and ask for a date. So in the previous episode we used brosef's unique actor and added a quest alias, and this was mainly for usage in scenes and stuff, but we could also use it in the script.
Okay. It's helpful.
So instead of brosef, you can go create a property alias brosef. And then for aliases, you need to use this particular language, get actor ref.
Mm-hmm.
And it essentially does the same thing. It moves him to brosef object.
Okay.
And this all happens at stage 10. We can also add some designer notes in case we forget what this particular stage is supposed to do. Moves brosef to vault. So if you look at our properties now, we have Broseph an actor. You can have it as a reference alias. You can have an object reference. There's all kinds of properties you can use, but different ways of doing the same thing, which is essentially moving Broseph to this object.
Yeah, because he just can't walk through that door by himself.
Yeah.
God damn it, Joseph.
Exactly. So we have all that. And then lastly, actually, no, that's it, huh? He's there.
I mean, he should be, right?
Yeah, so once he teleports, he'll continue to follow the player like we did in a previous package.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing we need to do for our story is we need to add an antagonist.
Oh, we need an antagonist.
Yes, of course. It can't just be about Broseph. He needs
Why
a
not?
villain.
Oh,
He needs
okay.
someone to be his mirror, more or less.
Or we could make Broseph become evil, like
Oh.
like in The Lion King or something.
Oh, it could be a twist. Maybe
Yeah.
it is. I did create another actor.
Oh, okay.
And I named him Twirlstachio. Because he's evil. He twirls his stash.
You know who he looks like? Do you remember this really old Sherlock Holmes game? And there was Dr. Watson who looked exactly like that.
Did he? I gave him one of those like mustaches that you twirl at the end.
Yeah.
And he also has glasses. You can't see him here, but I rather would have given him a monocle, but I don't think there's monocles in Fallout 4.
No, the people of the Commonwealth are not fancy enough for monocles.
I did name it incorrectly. I can't spell. Twirl should be spelled twirl. We don't want to create a new object, so no.
Okay.
Anything you want to add to him?
To Twirlstachio?
Yeah.
No, I think he looks perfect. Good job.
Okay. Make sure I spelled his name right. Go away. Okay. So, hit OK. Now to add him, same as we added Broseph, you just sort of drag him in.
Oh, so he's gonna be in the vault with us.
Yes.
Okay.
So after you get through vault processing, which you can see here, he'll be standing right here. Okay, so you meet your villain, Twirlstachio. Then you go and get frozen. And then you wake up in a separate cell, which is Vault 111 Cryo.
That's after how many years is it? 200?
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, what's-his-face, Broseph, isn't going to follow you into the new cell, right?
Yeah, so we have to teleport him there, right?
Exactly.
Like we just did. So that shouldn't be too difficult. Do you just do the exact same thing in a new quest?
Pretty much. Well, we don't need a new quest. We can use the same quest as we had before, just use a different stage.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this is... I assume this is after... Let's check if there's roaches. Yeah, if you notice there's roaches... There's rad roaches in here, so that means this is the cell after you wake up.
That's right.
Ah.
So, the people of the Commonwealth, did they know that this place existed?
The Vault 111?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's vaults all over the place.
But why didn't they go in there and, unfreeze all the people?
I don't know, because they're sealed?
Oh. That makes sense. I'm over-analyzing this thing, sorry. I'm just curious.
No worries. So, what do we do next? We we want to make a trigger box, right? So what do we do next?
We select an area, right?
Yeah, I selected.
You did, and then
Yeah.
we need to click the little T up in that one. Yes.
Very good.
I was almost paying attention.
And like we did before, default set stage trigger player only.
Yes.
Let's rename it Bros Set Stage 20. And let's find our teleport quest again. And this time, let's set to stage 20. And this time, let's add a prerequisite stage. You don't really need to, but whatever. I mean, prerequisite stage 10. So what we want to do, I guess, is have him chilling in the kitchen area.
So he's woken up before us, and he's decided to just go to the kitchen area instead of doing anything else. Like, yeah, that sounds like him. Let's do that.
Instead of freeing you, instead of, helping you get out, he decided that first things first, he's got to get some food.
Yes, he's smart. Broseph is very smart because he's thinking about surviving first. You have to kind of help yourself before you can help anybody else, right?
Let's add a little X marker here and call it Bros Object. Was it Object 2?
Bros Object 2. Okay.
So now let's find our quest, stage 20, and let's add a new designer note. Right click new, move Broseph to Cryo Vault, and this time let's move him to Broseph Object 2. Now if we use the same naming convention both here and in the quest, you'll notice that the creation kit is very good at automatically filling it. So if we put object reference Broseph Object 2.
Impressive.
Now before we had to find the value, right? This time it automatically filled the value.
One thing the creation kit is actually good at. How
Yes.
surprising.
Now, the last thing we're going to do, we're going to stop the quest
Uh-huh.
at stage 100. This would basically just stop the quest from running.
Okay. So what does that then do? What does he do when the quest stops?
Everything attached to this quest will just cease to function.
Okay.
So what we're going to do lastly is create a script to set stage 100 and attach it to this dialogue.
Right.
So we could do that one of two ways. The old way in Skyrim was using this language. Here's another thing we could do. Instead of using scripts, we can use this new handy icon, which happened to be included in the new creation kit. It wasn't in Skyrim.
That is so handy. Oh my
Yes.
god. I want
We can
that in my life.
We can actually set parent quest stage to a certain number. No scripts, no nothing. So this dialogue now sets the parent quest to stage 10.
But the parent quest is the wrong quest.
Oh, you're right. This dialogue is in Bros base dialogue. We need it to be in Bros teleport, the new quest we made, because that's where the stages are, the 10, 20, and 100 stages. Yeah, so let's move this particular dialogue over.
To the actual quest instead of using his dialogue quest. Yeah. That.
And now our dialogue is here.
Yay.
Yay. And now we don't need a script. Now we can set parent quest stage. And if you notice, all our notes are here. So if you're confused which quest stage you want to select.
That is
Uh,
so useful.
Yeah. shall we try it out now?
I would love to try it out.
In the center. Almost there. We're gonna be okay.
Wait, where's he
love you.
going?
Both of you.
He's so
We love you too.
confused.
It's like, oh, where is everybody going?
There we go.
Hold on!
There you go. Oh my god.
He's stuck.
Oh god.
He got stuck
Come
behind
on,
the wheel.
Broseph. I do not know how to get past this wheel. Oh no. There he goes.
Hopefully our teleport worked.
We did it. We made it.
And is he here? He's here!
Wait! He looks so pissed off. He's just kind of staring at us.
We'll get everyone situated in your new home. Vault 111.
Now let's check and see
Better
if
future
Torostachio made it.
underground.
Mr. Stachio. There he is. Creeping like a total creep.
Step over to the table, take a sip.
He looks very fashionable.
You brought this
I like it.
simpleton with you. Do you want to spend the next 50 years discussing football and hamburgers?
This way. Just step over to the table.
So
How rude.
So Torostachio is here,
What
Broseph
now?
is here. Now we just need to
Excellent.
All right, it's gone. Our home.
we just need
Everything we
to
had.
My mother and father down in DC.
be in
Freeze?
a vault. So we were at stage 10 from entering that previous trigger. Let's watch what happens when we enter our secondary trigger. So SQV Bros teleport, and we should be at stage 20. And we
Well,
are.
you can. There he
Hey. Let's see if our dialogue works.
is. He's found a
Hey,
drink.
bro. Real bummer what happened to everyone, huh? Funny thing is, though, I don't see that guy with, like, that gnarly mustache anywhere. Think he's okay?
So it all worked
Excellent.
out. So, that's it for this episode of Mod School. We teleported Bros. We gave him an antagonist. And in our next episode, we shall give them a quest to find said antagonist.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Alright. Anything else you want to add?
Hey, bro.
Thanks for watching.
Alright. Goodbye.
Bye.